Simmons was born on July 15, 1940 in Chicago, Illinois. In 1957, at the age of 17, Simmons dropped out of school and joined the U.S. Navy. It was in the Navy where he met his wife, Rebecca Olibari. They married in New Mexico on July 9, 1960. They had 7 children within 18 years of their marriage.
In 1981, Simmons fathered a child with his 17-year-old daughter, Sheila. He was being investigated by the Cloudcroft, New Mexico Department of Human Services for these allegations, so he fled to Ward, Arkansas. In 1983, he moved his family to Dover, Arkansas on a 13-acre property that he called Mockingbird Hill.
Their residence was made of 2 mobile homes joined together. The residence didn't have telephones or indoor plumbing and was surrounded by a makeshift privacy fence. Because of the lack of plumbing, Simmons made his family dig cesspits where he would eventually bury his family's bodies. Simmons worked several jobs in Russellville, and most of his jobs would end up being his targets for his shooting spree.
On the morning of December 22, 1987, he killed his wife and eldest son, Gene, by blunt force trauma and shooting them. He then killed his 3-year-old granddaughter, Barbara, by strangulation. He dumped their bodies in the cesspits.
He then waited for his other children to return from school. When they got home, he told them he had presents waiting for them inside, but wanted to give them one at a time. He first killed his 17-year-old daughter, Loretta, by strangulation and drowning in the rain barrel. He then killed his 3 other children, Eddie, Marianne, and Becky, each one at a time in the same way. He disposed of their bodies in the cesspit as well.
On December 26, his remaining family members arrived at his home for the holidays. He first killed his son Billy and his wife Renata by shooting them. He strangled and drowned Billy's 20-month-old son Trey. He then shot and killed his oldest daughter Sheila and her husband Dennis. He strangled his child by Sheila, 7-year-old Sylvia Gill. Finally, he killed his 21-month-old grandson Michael. He laid each of their bodies in neat rows in the living room and covered them up with coats and tablecloths. The bodies of Trey and Michael were wrapped in plastic sheeting and left in an abandoned cars on the property. The morning of December 28th, he went to Walmart in Russellville and bought another gun to use in his killing spree.
This is the first location of his shooting spree, which was Peel, Eddy, and Gibbons Law Firm, and today it's still Peel Law Firm where he shot and killed his receptionist, Kathy Crivens-Kendrick.
Kathy formerly worked with Simmons at Woodline Motor Freight.
A coworker stated that he asked her out on numerous occasions and she repeatedly said no, which could have been an underlying motive for her murder.
He then went to Taylor Oil Company, which used to be located here, and it's where he shot 2 people.
He shot and wounded Russell Taylor, who was the owner of Sinclair Mini Mart, where Simmons used to work.
He then shot J.D. Chapin, a fireman and truck driver, and he was killed.
He then went to the Sinclair Mini Market and shot and wounded 2 people, one being Roberta Woolery, his former boss.
Next, Simmons drove to Woodline Motor Freight Company on Airport Road, which is approximately around this area.
He shot his former supervisor in the head and chest, and she survived.
Simmons then held a coworker at gunpoint and told her to call the police. He said, "I've come to do what I wanted to do. It's all over now. I've gotten everybody who wanted to hurt me."
When police arrived at Woodline Motor Freight, Simmons handed over his gun and surrendered without any resistance. Throughout the 40-minute-long rampage, Simmons had killed 2 and injured 4 others.
He went on 2 trials, one for his public spree and the other one for his family. Both times he was found guilty and sentenced to death. However, he chose not to appeal and he wanted his sentence to be carried out expeditiously.
On May 31st, 1990, Arkansas Governor, later President Bill Clinton, signed his execution warrant, and on June 25th, he died by lethal injection.